So I opened both of them up. The orange one is over there, and we will take a look bit by bit, and you can decide for yourself. So as I mentioned, these problem areas over here, that corner, this thing on both sides, on both vehicles is the same, so nothing to look there. They need to be fixed. This is the part that I fixed on the orange one. It has some rust bubbles over here, and there's a crack forming. I think this sounds quite solid, but probably something under there that they try to hide. Also, you can see in the seam over here, that's all buggered up, so I guess that needs to be scraped up and looked. Here's some Bondo, but those corners look much better than on the orange one, so probably those panels has to be fixed. That's the same as I did on the orange one. Let's take a look at the other side. That's the same deal here. This line looks good up until here. This is a little bit messed up. There's probably Bondo, and that's Bondo in here, and it's quite flexible, so that's probably rusted out. And also this line is just Bondoed up, and also here. So if you're buying a Venagon T25 or T3, you should take a close look at those lines, those seams. They are very hard to get right if you just put some Bondo over them, because you have to file all those grooves in. If it doesn't have any grooves whatsoever, then it's probably a good chance that it's a replacement part, a cheap one. Also a little bit of Bondo over there, so probably those panels needs to be changed. But again, that corner looks much better than it looked on the orange one. The spring purchase look good. Those are the air shocks, as I mentioned. Both of the treasure doors look good, but this has a bunch of Bondo on it, and that's cracked, so there's probably a rust hole or something behind them, because as you can see, there are some rust streaks. So there's probably a hole up in there. These corners, as far as I can see, they look, that's just dirt. They look very good. Some little bit of rust streaks over here and up there. Same on the other side. So that is already better than the orange one. This is the underside of the load bed, which is in very good shape, other than those spots over there. There were some wooden slats screwed to the bed from factory because of the camper, so that it puts some pressure on the camper bottom. So those are all just small holes, and also that's just rusted at the spot welds over there. That's the front edge of the load bed, which again is a problem on any pickup or Doka or single cab. They all leak water up in there, so you have to look out for that. So this is just some hammerite paint that they brushed onto it. Here you can see the divots of the spot welds, but this bed could be saved. I never seen one like this. This has something to do because it was never used as a utility vehicle, just for hauling the camper. They probably put something heavy or dented this, but it can be straightened out. And here is the meeting line of the two panels. Not sure if you can see that, from this part to this part, because this area is made up from two pieces which are joined over here, and this is one side and the other side, so it's in total 4 pieces to make up this load bed, which you can't buy anymore. You can't buy these replacement panels. So in here that whole thing is cracked, and there is where the water leaks in, and that's where the rust streaks come from, and it also flows into there. So that need to be drilled off, everything, and resealed and welded back up. This corner has some rust damage to it. There are some holes in there, but all the spot welds look intact. Also, again, this mounting point, there was probably some kind of hooks mounted in here, and there is where all the rust came from. And this is the edge which I mentioned from underneath. This rusts away and moisture gets in from up here and flows into the bottom of the truck and rust out everything from the bottom. So let's take a look at the other one. So this is the orange one, as you can see. Let's take a look at the bed. So those dark spots are all big rust holes. It's all rusted out, all the corners. There are screws sticking out from it. Those are all holes over there. They use some rivets to fill in those holes that are from factory in the bed, but those are extra holes, very big holes. No rust streaks over here, so that piece or those welds are better on this one. But as you can see, the bed is gone on this one, and also the corner edge. There you can see the damage, and as I mentioned, you can't get those beds anymore, those parts, so you have to make your own if you want to restore such a truck. That edge is fully gone, and the previous owner just put this sheet metal on top, which is not even watertight. So I just sealed up all the edges and painted it with some hammerite, so not as much water can get in there. This bottom corner is completely gone. Over here, that's just some seam sealer to fill up all the gaps to prevent water from going in. The back panel is all dented up. I'm sure you can't see it on camera, but it's very bad. You can see even the rust in there. That's all rusted up, the edge, so the bottom of the cab needs to be replaced. That member, the inside and the outside of the load bed, so that's 3 or 4 pieces of sheet metal that need to be replaced, drilled off. Probably the whole back of the cab needs to be taken off. As I mentioned, this is the front of the package tray. These are the spots that rust out on those trucks because moisture gets up from there. This is just surface rust, that's nothing bad, and water gets in here and rust out these parts, but that's just the top of the outrigger, as you have seen from the underside. Let's take this off. That's just dirt. This side of the corner, there is a rust hole in here, so that needs to be fixed, but that's a small one. And in the corner, maybe you can see, that's just filler put in there. Sorry for the echo. So as you can see, that's just filled up with Bondo, so that corner, this panel, this whole panel needs to be fixed. Also this corner bracket. As you can see, this is the orange one, which has, those are all rust holes, all rotten out. This is just some tape that I put on from the other side to prevent any water or stones coming in. But that whole floor is gone. Also over there, these pieces are rotted out. Corner over there, also this outer piece, all in there. That outrigger, this patch, that's all patched up, but the edges are all rusted. I just put some seam sealer in it because I have to use this truck to haul stuff around for the camper. That corner of the B pillar is gone. Both of the doors bottoms are gone, all full of holes on the orange one. And this is the right side, which is rusted through. That's a patch that somebody did, and it's already rusted through. Probably was a rusty piece of sheet metal. The corner bracket is gone. They did some patch up work in here and quite thick a layer of Bondo. As you can see, not very good of a work. Also the bottom of the B pillar, and this corner is also gone. Not as bad as the other side, but much worse than on the red truck. Here you can see the patches. And up in there, that's some sheet metal that they put onto there. That corner, the edges of the treasure chest doors look very good. And this is the part that's rusted out on the other one. That's rusty also, but I think that could be patched up with a small patch. But that's surface rust because they scratched up the paint. Also this one. But that's all in much better shape. This is the top. Again, surface rust from the leaking corners. But this is the filler piece. Just some rust on the edges, which can be cleaned up, I guess, with sandblasting. That's probably bondoed over right in here. Let's take a look inside. Yep, there it is. You can even see a little spot of light coming in. So that's all bondoed. And this side of the B pillar is rusted out and full of dirt as on the orange one. So that's the same problem. But this fender looks quite good under here. They probably bondoed it in here, so this corner needs to be fixed. Let's take a look inside here under the rubber mats. That's all just black glue, but those seams are very clean. Also the floor, and you can see it right in here that there are some rust marks or rust streaks. Those come from the windshield frame, because T3s, Venegons, T25, all the same car, as you know, they like to rust out the windshield frame, so that has to be done on both trucks because they both leak. Let's take a look on the orange one. As you can see, that's been patched up, the B pillar. The corner of the wing is just has a little bit of bondo in it. This whole panel needs to be replaced because it's simpler. Those corners have big rust holes in them, so I just taped it up again to keep the moisture out. And this is how it looks on the orange one. So that seam is completely gone. That's all thick rust. That corner, but the seat boxes are rusted through, and also that part over there. And some big holes in there. The sealant is cracked over here, so probably that's also gone under it. The front panel on the orange one has also some rust in it because the metal is all swollen up in here. And all the seams are opened up, so that needs to be redone, the sealing. The doors on the orange one need to be changed, both of them. Huge dents, bondo, rust. Let's take a look at the driver's side. This is all rotten out, and the seat base again. Also under here there's a very big rust hole, and it comes from the leaking window, because water comes in and collects all under the deadening material. This is from that is from factory, glued onto the metal over here. This side of the arches is rusted through completely. Also the bottom. This is the front panel of the red one. As you can see, they filled up this line, this split line, with bondo. Probably has some rust in it, and also the seam is gone on this one because they filled it up again with bondo, so that has to be looked at what's underneath that bondo. I guess it's not much worse than the orange one. This is how the red one's floor looks like. Again, there was this sound deadening material from factory up in here. I just scraped it up so you can take a look. This is where all the water collects from the windshield. There you can see all that watermarks that came down from the windshield, and all the water collects up onto that deadening material. Let me carefully pry this up. As you can see, the rust already started in here, which are those corners here. So if you can see a crack in this area or rust spots, that's probably rusted through. There is probably some rust underneath there. Also up in here, rust, so these corners need to be fixed also on this truck as well as on the orange one, as well as this part is all rusty. The back panel is very good, very straight. Only this thing from factory, which is riveted in, needs to be replaced. Rusted in here because of that pop riveted metal sheet, which I want to fix and fill in this whole panel with some fresh metal, weld it in to get it nice and smooth and watertight. I will probably keep working on this one because this is a very good candidate to be restored. It's a 1.6 turbo diesel that came with the factory opening in the back. It has a good load bed. So guys, if you have an opinion which one to keep, the red one or the orange one, or maybe both of them, so you have more content, let me know in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you next time. Bye.